misinterpret, it as an alien spacecraft.
True. Before Area 51 was closed off, there was tons of photography of weird things flying around that were definitely, experiments by our military. But I'm not sure if those military are also flying over populated cities with top secret aircraft. So a lot of the stuff that is seen is going to be something that is completely off of the Earth. The Bible and science have to blend together because not one side or the other has a complete 100% monopoly on the story. There is going to be a blend somewhere in the middle.
Thank you very much.
That's my opinion on that.
Okay, very good. Next up, let's go to our wild card line. Hello there, Buck. You're on Coast to Coast.
Hello, George.
Hey,
You're
sir.
doing a heck of a job. And Jason and Eric, I'm calling not with a question, but I'm calling to agree with you wholeheartedly. I happen to be Iranian, and we believe in exactly what you're saying. And just like the last caller said, there has to be the Bible and science can't be at odds. In fact, they do agree if you look close enough, as you have noticed. And I'm going to spend only a couple of seconds here, but can you hear me?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Now, the problem originally started, like you said, with the misinterpretation of the Bible, where the original Hebrew version did not say God. It said Elohim, and you said that. And we believe in the Elohim. In fact, we believe the Elohim are one of many that have done experiments on planets that have made humans in their own image. And so we believe that the Elohim created us on this particular planet, and I'm told they also tried it on 2 additional planets, which I don't know much about. Now, I'm going to move along fast here, but in the Bible, it does, the very first sentence says, God created heaven and earth. Well, if you take it back to the Elohim created it, Elohim means those who came from the sky, is what I'm told, or those who came from above. You tried to explain it earlier. It's those who are more knowledgeable, or those, and it's plural, definitely plural. So the God thing is we're atheists and we don't believe in God. And secondly, in the first few experiments, they made them so much identical that they would live to be 700 years old. And that's why when you read the first part in Genesis, it talks about so-and-so lived to be 700 and so years, and so-and-so lived, and his son lived to be 700. Well, it's true. They did live to be 700 years. But what happened was that the Elohim became somewhat concerned that we would gain too much knowledge by living so long. So they changed something in our DNA that shortened our life down to 70 years average instead of 700 years. And they've always been sort of, I'm going to say, paranoid that we would come back to them. In fact, the Tower of Babel actually was a chemical rocket that they were trying to build to get back to the Elohim. And let's see what else here. The covenant. The original covenant was when, is everybody still there?
Yep, we're all listening.
Okay, the covenant, remember the Ark of the Covenant's a big deal. Well, the original covenant was when the Elohim discovered that they themselves were created by some people they were created in someone else's image. And so when they realized that they were created in someone's image, they decided not to interfere with our affairs anymore. And that was a long time ago, and they have not interfered since. But they have been trying to sort of like nudge us to become more elevated consciousness, because there's been many prophets, and Jesus is included. I mean, I'm talking about Jesus, Muhammad, even Gandhi was a prophet in himself, and Buddha, and the latest is Rael, who we follow. And these were all people who were sent that are half, they're hybrids. They're sent with the same message, and the message is this: if you cannot get along with yourselves on your own planet, how in the heck do you expect to become part of the Federation? So it's just strange that the covenant, they left us alone to see what we would do, and actually Satan was one of the people that voted against the whole idea in the first place, that thought that we were bad. You know, what they had created was bad, and being bad meaning that we acquired too much knowledge too fast and misused it.
Eric, very, very close to what you and Jason say.
Yeah, Rael has an interesting story. Some of it I disagree with, like the timeline of only 25,000 years of these Elohim being on Earth and creating thousands of species in this short time. The archaeological record definitely shows much older life forms. And the Raelian group is interesting is they do not believe in that there's a soul. They're one of the few groups that does not believe that. They believe it's all reincarnation with your memories existing. So they have a very unique belief system.
Okay, thanks for that call, Buck. Appreciate you being on Coast to Coast. Let's go next to our next wild card line. TJ in Tucson, you're on the air. Hi.
Yes, sir. I have two questions.
Sure.
My first question is, when Planet X appeared in the daytime sky thousands of years ago and it looked like a cross, what were the atmospheric conditions that caused it to look like a cross? And my second question is, the cross has been used as a symbol, a religious symbol, long before Christ ever walked the face of the earth. I was just wondering if this was the origins of that being used as a religious symbol.
I'll give that to you, Eric.
Well, the original source of the cross was the Nabirian symbol, but it did not appear to look like a cross in the sky. The cross was more of the symbol in picture form of the translation of Nibiru being the planet of the crossing. Mm-hmm. So it looked like, Jason, was it a red dot or something when they saw it there in the observation? It didn't look like a cross in the sky. That was just the depiction in the artwork.
Just like the Anunnaki being depicted with wings, I seriously doubt they walked on the earth with wings.
Correct. They were just depicted as flyers, the ability to fly and move around like that.
Okay, thanks. Let's go next. East of the Rockies, you're on Coast to Coast. Hi there.
Hi, George. This is Joe from Grand Rapids,
Hey,
Michigan.
Joe. Hi.
Hi. Good. How you doing? I have a question about 2012. Before I get into that, I've read all of Sitchin's books. There's a story about one of the Anunnaki, Nephilim, that got exiled to the far west, and there's a Mayan text that talks about a white-bearded man that traveled from the far east and gave them their astronomical...
Quetzalcoatl.
Yes, Quetzalcoatl. And so I was wondering if it's possible that this whole 2012 thing, because there's a lot of synchronicities going on lately, if it's possible that it's the return of the Nephilim to Earth, because the serpent god, and I believe like the symbol of Enki was the snake running up the cross, like the medical symbol. And is that possible they worshipped the serpent god because the man that came to them told them about all these things, and if 2012 is the return of the Nephilim to Earth?
All right, who wants that?
I'll take a stab at it real quickly. Earlier in my presentation, I mentioned that on the long count calendar of the Mayans, which was mainly based on predictions that they would make on Baktun, certain timetables, they were more or less predictions. So one of these predictions was that Quetzalcoatl was going to return in a predicted date. That date brought about the conquistadors instead of Quetzalcoatl. So I theorize that 2012's demise of the end of time is just a prediction from their long count calendars, and since others have not been fulfilled as they predicted, this prediction for 2012 really doesn't hold much weight. I just take it as a grain of sand as far as will it be another doomsday event, which people are always looking for.
I look at 2012 as the beginning and end of an age or a cycle. All the planets will be aligned on one side of the sun. That may or may not cause some gravitational problem. And then 2013 will begin a new era. It doesn't mean that the old era will end in fire and brimstone. It could just be, there could be no event at all. It could be non-event.
That's possible.
Hopefully maybe something good.
Hopefully good, yes.
West of the Rockies. Hi, Sally. You're on the air.
Hi. Turn off my radio.
Okay.
I have heard in the past about Zechariah's predictions, or things that he has said about positive and negative blood, and that some of the workers had positive blood